What's up, my party people? It's your boy Darshaun Smith, aka the Positivity Guide, otherwise known as on this podcast as Big D, back again for another episode of the Positivity Hour, episode 43. Roll the intro and let's get straight to it. Woo! Now that the intro has rolled, let's get into today's topic. I've been doing a lot of videos recently on improving yourself personally, but you got to realize, although you got to improve yourself personally, that doesn't mean you can't not improve the society around you or around your oneself, in which you inevitably will have to interact with at one point or another, and how that can also aid in fixing and or the opposite, hurting or hindering how you conduct your own self, if that makes sense, Ooh. Lord, did I just yawn for a solid 3, 4, 5 seconds right there? Most definitely. Am I going to cut it out? No, because I want to take everything and I want to keep it genuine. I don't know why that just happened, but we're just going to go with it. So hopefully you're doing all right. I'm going to keep this one pretty nice, short, and sweet. I'm shooting for 10, 15 minutes max. So, drink some water. I got mine right here in the bottle, Sit back and enjoy yourself. For all my other self-improvement videos, be sure to go and listen or watch those previous videos. But for this one, for those who are watching, I'm gonna put a screenshot on the screen here in about 30 seconds. And for those who are listening, I am gonna describe to you what is being shown. Lord, I just got the yawns today. Quick though, how am I doing? Keeping with the podcast traditions and all that. I'm doing all right. I could be better, but I could be worse. I'm about to go work for 7.5 hours. From I'm not going to tell you, but it's going to be a long, fun time, and I signed up for it, so let's get the bread. But outside of that, I got a whole bunch of group projects coming up soon. We're making moves academically, trying to get the bread, monetarily, academically, socially, familially, whatever you want to say. And are we doing it? Yeah. But could we be doing it at a higher level? Most definitely. But could we be like everyone else, which is normal, which is sucking? Most definitely. So it's a mixture of all, but just know, perfect does not exist. That's why I want to put on a shirt. Constant progression is better than perfection. Don't steal my idea, because if you steal it, I'm coming for my royalty check. It's already trademarked on the gang, bro. Okay, it's not, but still, don't take it. But yeah, getting into the screenshot. Put the screenshot up on the screen, Darshaun, for those who are watching the podcast. But those who are listening, I'll read it to you. It says, "It is never too late to acknowledge the reality that urban highways are a fixable mistake." And as you can see on here, it has Dusseldorf, in 1990, with the highway interstate type thing along the coast of its city, right next to its residential buildings, and it's it looks like the land was made for the car, which obviously has its impacts here and there, socially, and one's economic attainment, whether they are excluded or included from, jobs or whatever else you want to say. And to the picture below, which is, a couple years later, as in about 30 years later, more or less, actually 29 for being exact, for those who are listening. Like I said, if you're watching, do the math yourself, but I already gave the answer to you, so let's continue on. And 29 years later, you can see that the people of Dusseldorf actually, in the background, built a few more tall buildings, you could say. And they also got rid of that same highway interstate system. They actually turned it into a very nice green space, a very nice pedestrian space. And you can see that there are many people out here enjoying life and enjoying the fresh new green space in their city environment. And as the description says, of this podcast, technically this is a podcast where Also, yeah, Darshaun, take the picture off the screen if you didn't do it already. But like, I'll literally read the description of my podcast to y'all. Okay, it says, in this podcast you can expect a little bit of everything, from hot takes to interviews to reviews to deep talks about current social issues from the perspective of a sociology major in college. Okay, what I really need to add is like how to improve yourself. But what this podcast especially is one of the few instances where I'm actually talking about something in society in which something like that is like kind of bad, something that has, caused, racialized segregation in, the US and other countries like it. Like, obviously this will not be the most like research oriented podcast in this instance. Obviously I plan to do more in the future since I'm going down a career where I'll need to, back up my claims with either my own data or the data from my peers. Okay, camera, you're making me yawn. Okay, stop it. I'm on to you. But continuing on. Yeah, so in this case, we're talking about like urban renewal, talking about urban highways specifically, and like the many shortcomings, the many downsides, the cons, you could say, that come with, I don't know, displacing 1,000 black neighborhoods and, just kind of putting a highway interstate system right through it in thousands of cities all around the country and the world, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, particularly we're going to focus on this picture and literally what I can see and what I've described to you and what I hope you can see as well. In this instance, we can see that before, like I said, Dusseldorf was the land of the car, meaning socially, you can't get anywhere without it. You need it for work, you need it for like school life, you need it for this and that. It obviously could also mean potentially that your public transit is not good. And if your public transit is not good and it can't get you to where you need to go, that obviously limits the opportunities in which you can partake in life. What I mean by that is like the work you can do where you can send your kids to school, the child care you can provide for them. And this all plays into the amount of money you have, I've made three main research focus, that I want to expand upon. I want to do a whole podcast episode about like, just like really thinking out loud about like my own research interests, because best believe, like, as I go through the rest of undergrad and eventually go to graduate school to get a PhD in sociology, I will be using this platform like on a more serious level. So hopefully nothing I actually said in previous episodes gets me canceled, but like, it's okay, because if anything, this documents the progress and the thought process in which I have and am trying to convey to you. That's all I've ever tried to do with these videos. I tell y'all what I need to tell myself, and as I said in the description, we're going to talk about current social issues and things that are just kind of going on with the world from the perspective of someone who's about to get their paycheck for doing this. Okay, but right now I get my paycheck for driving the bus, or not even that. I get my paycheck for directing people and managing people who drive buses. So we're moving on up the food chain, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, we're going to speak that into reality later. But back onto Dusseldorf and their transition to away from cars, And now when you look at the picture of this establishment, this city alleviating the need for like cars and such, you can obviously see that there may have been a priority shift of some kind. There may have been a higher emphasis on like health, especially now that we're in the pandemic. We've been cooped up inside or limited to seeing folks, or a lot of people have, literally just not been able to see people because they died from the Rona, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever else you want to say. So you can see that maybe in this newer picture, this was obviously before COVID hit, that maybe, I don't know, humans need to see some color in their life. They need to see some natural wildlife. Maybe they need cleaner air, renewable resources, things like that to, live a more consistent, better, happy life. And I think that this is what I'm seeing here. Obviously, I'm not researching this particular establishment. I'm not doing in-depth analysis, either secondary or like ethnographies or whatever you want to say, whatever research you want to say I could do. I'm not doing any of that, okay? I'm literally just providing my opinion on a picture I just saw 10 minutes ago, okay? And specifically about the city in Dusseldorf, but like I said, we're going to focus on the U.S. a little bit. I had briefly hinted on how we do this in the U.S. Like the United States of America was built by the car, you know? Like everything we have in our country, besides some parts in the East Coast area, like Washington, D.C., New York, you know, stuff like that, you need a car to do anything, okay? There are certain parts, an example, in Indiana, like around like South Bend to like Indianapolis. Like there's no like public transit or like chartered bus system or whatever where you can get from this city to that city. You can't even take a train, okay? Or like literally anything. So like literally if you were trying, I've said literally like 5 times in the last like I'm funny for that. But like I'm saying, okay, you without a car you can't do nothing. There's no way to travel between places. So if you needed to move, you can't. If you need to commute for work, you can't. You know, you can't do the basic minimum things that will really elevate your life, okay? As I started to say earlier, but I just now remembered that I forgot to actually say it. Money is power, okay? Money by means, literally corporations fight every day. And just to, especially in terms of like, for example, donating to political organizations, you know, creating super PACs and other things like that, you know, through like Citizens United and such. And because they view money as expression, you could say, and to some extent it is, but so obviously individuals cannot, you know, donate, you know, billions of dollars to candidates, so they had to come up with a clever way through super PACs to do it. But in that process, you know, a lot of people began to wonder, if money is expression, why do you get to have more say than like me? I thought, why can't it be like a one-to-one thing? But like I said, this is just one example of how money is power, because if you got more money to throw at a political candidate, that means you can run more positive ads, you can drown out the hate, whatever, make them look better, you know, literally set up more events, reach out to more people, get more people registered to vote for you, whatever, you know. But this also works in this context too, because a lot of this comes down to money, you know, these public infrastructure, because this is really topic, because, you know, really on topic right here, because the Biden administration, along with some of the Republican counterparts, you know, like actually passed, you know, some version of an infrastructure bill, and obviously it was huge, over $1 trillion, and that $1 trillion in the past went to fund things like this Dusseldorf urban highways area, which obviously played a large role in deconstructing and literally tearing down and just flat out destroying neighborhoods, particularly where minorities lived. And obviously these people were already down bad. They already didn't have access to like vehicles and other things that, you know, are pretty much essential and are paramount to, you know, living in our modern society, as well as that the cherry on top that the federal government did, especially in the U.S., was like, hey, so remember how like you're already down bad, we're gonna displace all of you, make all your rent unpayable, and if we're gonna rebuild anything like they said they would, but most likely never did, we're gonna gentrify it and super hike it up just so like rich white people can live there. And this Dusseldorf example is like just that. Like you can see the development in the land of like the buildings that are there, the roads that are there, and like literally the lack of people. But if you can do it, you can undo it, okay? Like that, and that's kind of the theme of this video, okay? I know it's been slightly all over the place. I'm definitely just kind of improvising this, but I think I'm doing all right. And yeah, that's, like I said, that's the theme. I don't know why we don't do it, you know. Obviously it benefits us. At the end of the day, it benefits a majority of people, and as I'm saying majority, I mean white people and other people who have money and access to these resources that can get them to where they literally want to go in life, you know. The whole reason, especially in the US, we developed all these highways and interstates specifically around our cities that just so happen to also displace, you know, black and brown folk, was to, accommodate for white flight and getting these white people who were like, yeah, I'm gone, and lived in the suburbs back into the city because that's where the jobs are at. That is where the money is at, and money is king. Okay, I've made an episode about this. I made a podcast episode about this before. How like money is power, and I'm just giving you multiple examples from politics to little jobs to literally people walking down the street. Okay, if you throw 100 at a person, they'll look at you different. Okay, maybe not. They might just keep walking. Okay, like what if it was Bill Gates? Okay, it's not even worth Bill Gates' time to pick up that $100 because he would have made like 10 times that amount of money. So I don't know. I think that's about all I got. So I don't keep on rambling. I think the video's been going for about 10 or so minutes. So like I said, I'm gonna keep it nice, short, and sweet. You'll actually be seeing this on a Wednesday or listening because this is a podcast and I do both. New sound system coming here soon. I'm about to get some like insulation, not insulation, but what are they called? The foam things that make your area sound better. I want to get some of those. I'm looking into different colors, different shapes, sizes, ones for the corners. Obviously where I live now is a pretty temporary setup. I don't plan on living here for too much longer. But going forward in the future, like I said, I'm trying to invest and get better at this. I want to get a new camera, so the video literally looks better. I want to get a new microphone so I sound better, things like that. Because I appreciate y'all for listening, and because of that, I want to up the quality of the content. I want to upload the frequency. So I just recorded a video that I'm going to post tomorrow, Sunday. I'm actually recording this Saturday, November the 5th. So you'll actually see this Wednesday, November 10th. So it's been real, my party people. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or want to fact check me, or even have a positive discourse, because that's all I'm gonna do here. It won't be one-sided. I'm open to opinions. I'm wrong. I'll admit it, but I also like learning. Okay, when you're wrong, that gives you a chance to just to learn something. But do remember, just because you see a 6 doesn't mean that I don't see a 9, okay? We can look at the same thing and see 2 different things and both be right. Think about it, okay? That might be the next Positivity Hour episode, okay? But until then, make sure y'all like, subscribe, unsubscribe, hate, comment, follow, unfollow, dislike, report, share. I don't care what you do at the end of the day, because as long as you stay positive, that's all that matters, okay? This is the Positivity God, Darshaun Smith, a.k.a. Big D. We out, and y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace. Woo! Bonk.